Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome aboard. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Hope everybody is staying safe out there. We're gonna do a quick tutorial video on Microsoft 2020's camera system. I know a lot of guys have been asking me about my camera views and how I got mine set up and how I got things rolling, and so I thought I'd share it with you guys. And my boy Dougal McTavish asked me to do this for him. So we're gonna go ahead and get involved here. We're gonna get inside, and as you can see, traffic is getting backed up out there. It's all good. We're up here in Big Bear, California, Big Bear Lake. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. We are going to be working on the camera system today, so there won't be any flying. We won't even turn on the aircraft. Just going to be setting up views and getting ourselves familiar with the camera system and how things were working. And so let's do that. So first things first, let's go ahead and let's open up the camera since we're outside and we don't have any views set up. Oh, well, we have the external stuff set up, which I set up. But anywho, technically you wouldn't have anything set up at all. I don't know why that's happening. All right, there we go. So we're back in the external camera. Kind of weird, but we're back. All right, so first things first, before we jump inside the aircraft and start setting views and all that kind of stuff, we have to tell Microsoft 2020 what buttons are going to be what. And so with that being the case, we're gonna have to go inside our options menu. Let's go into the controls menu, and we're only going to be working with the keyboard. We're not going to be working with any of the rest of the peripherals, just the keyboard and just the camera system. All right, so first things first, go ahead and click keyboard. We'll get those pulled up. We'll keep the keyboard profile, which is my default profile. What that does is allows me to kind of leave the keyboard settings the same, and it won't have an effect when I change out of the different aircraft. Now, what you can do is if you have certain views that you like or you want to set as a special or whatever the case is, and you want the keybinds to be set to that, you're going to want to probably come down here to preset manager, click on that, and what I would do is duplicate our profile. Once we have it set up, I would duplicate the profile. That way certain keys you want to stay the same are the same, and you only have to go in there and change one or two or whatever it is you want to change. If you want to completely start from scratch, you can go ahead and start a new profile. You can rename this profile, you can delete it or clear all of the set buttons, or you can reset them to default, or you can delete the profile as a whole. All right, so that's just to keep in mind. You want to make sure you're saving profiles, at least for your peripherals. You want to make sure you're saving profiles to the different aircraft. All right, so we're not going to fool with that much. Let's go down here to filters. Go ahead and change this to all. And if you might see something like that when you click on it, like all of the sub categories are open. Go ahead and just close that, because all you're gonna need is the camera system. Go ahead and click camera. And first things first, I don't deal with the slew mode. If some of you guys want to set up the slew mode, I believe that's to move the aircraft around the airport itself without having to fly or taxi. I believe this system works with that, but I don't use it, so I'm not going to touch it. What we're going to do is we're going to set up a few cockpit views, show you how to maneuver the external camera and the drone camera, as well as the fixed views, which you saw some of those kind of popped up at the very beginning, jumping from the automatic views that are already set in Microsoft for fixed camera. All right, so we're going to camera mode switches. What you want to do is cockpit external view mode. What this does is allow you to pop from inside of the cockpit to outside of the airplane, and you're not in the drone, you're actually in the external mode. Okay, you've got 3 different camera sets. You've got the cockpit, the external, and what is called showcase mode in the camera menu, but it's really the drone. All right, so that's what that third section is. All right, and so what I did was, because in X-Plane I'm used to hitting the num key 9, that's what I set it for. You go inside, and these will be empty. You go inside, it shouldn't be anything there, so it should open up like this. Cockpit external view mode, press key or key combination. What you want to do first, click search by input, and you're going to set that to whatever you want it to be. In my case, it's going to be num 9. Once you get that, you're going to validate it. Now you'll get this little exclamation point that says this is already used somewhere else. Do you want to buy it in anyway? You can look and see what else it's programmed to. Okay, as you can see, is number 9 is programmed to load custom 8, and I'll show you what that is. It's also connected to slew roll right. All right, so if it doesn't affect anything in terms of cockpit or external views, don't worry about it. Go ahead and validate it, make sure it shows up in the section there, and you're good to go. Same thing with the drone cam. To get to the drone, you'll hit the equal sign, which is what I set it. Works well for me. Validate it, you're good. As you can see, these end and insert are there. I think those are there by default. I didn't change these, but if you can memorize that, you don't have to set anything and just memorize the enter or insert key, or you can go in and set it to whatever it is you want it to be. All right, so make sure you do that first. Make sure you get those two set. That is a quick change from inside the cockpit to outside the aircraft, and also toggling the drone, so you'll have full autonomy over the drone. All right, we close that. Let's go down to our next category, which is cockpit cameras. We'll open that up, and you'll see load custom camera 0. Now we just saw where we had keybind numlock 9 to the external view. It will also command whatever we set load custom camera 8 to. All right, so that's what you were seeing in that exclamation showing us that it was double binded. All right, but before we set these, let's go down to save custom cameras. All right, you want to get all 9 of those, or 10 with including 0. All right, all 10 of these views you're gonna want. Keep in mind, save custom camera 0 is corresponded to, in my case, is corresponded to the num 1 key, which would be my captain's view, or the left seat. Okay, and then save custom camera 9 is going to be num lock 0, which is going to be actually the 0 on the num key. All right, so keep in mind that camera 0 is not programmed as the 0 on the numpad. 0 actually correlates with number 1, so it'll start as actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then camera 9 would actually be 0. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. This is where the 1 starts on the num key, this is where 9 is on the num key, and then this is 0 at the bottom. All right, in default, this side should be empty. I don't think that there's anything in here. If it is, go ahead and delete every single one of these. Delete them, delete them, delete them. What we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to save the keybind, or program the keybind to save the views that you want. So once you find a first officer view, or a pilot, captain, pilot in command view, you want to save that view, these are the commands that you're going to have to use, or the combination of binds you'll use. Now default, it will be Control Alt 0. Control Alt 0 actually correlates with the 0 on the top of your keyboard, the long strip that comes across the keyboard, 1 through 0, between the little squiggly dash and the minus sign, or the underscore sign. those numbers that sit at the top, that's what these numbers are correlating with. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. What we're going to do, and you can set this up however you want to. For us X-Plane users that want to kind of make this camera system a little bit more recognizable to what we're used to, you're going to want to use the control, left control, and then you'll press the corresponding num lock there, and you'll look for these combinations to come up. So for my pilot and command view, or my left seat view, I use num1 in X-Plane. And so what I'll do is I'll hit control and the number 1 on the num key. It'll show up as a combination, validate it, and you'll do that all the way down. It doesn't have to be in this order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I know a lot of guys that actually use the pilot in command as the number 4, the first officer is the number 6, and then the rest of everything else kind of is built around that. I know some guys that actually use the 0 as their first, or their pilot in command view. However you want to set it, just make sure that you know where these corresponding key combinations are. All right. Second thing is you're going to scroll back up to the top, and now you're going to put in load custom camera. You're going to start putting these in, and what this does is this will call those views that you set to the corresponding numbers here that you save. All right. So load custom camera 0 for me, that's my first office, or my pilot in command. So num1 would be how I call that saved view, or that custom camera. All right. And you'll do that if you know 1 through 0 all the way down. Keeping in mind that 0 actually correlates with 1 and not 0. All right. So this one will be 1 instead of 0, and this one will be 9, just as we saw down in the save views, or save camera. All right. So go ahead and set those up, and what you can do is once you get back in the cockpit, you get all your views set up. All you have to do is hit control and that number, and then after you save it, you'll just hit these numbers, and without the control, which you see here, nothing else but just the numbers, and they'll call those views. All right. Next thing we want to set up in the cockpit camera view is moving forward and backward. And moving forward and backward meaning forward towards the primary flight display, or moving back away from it like you're sitting back in the seat. Okay. This is good when you're trying to set like a nose view, or if you need to zoom in on the FMC or the Garmin G1000 or whatever you're using, and you want to move forward towards it. These are the ones you want to grab. Translate cockpit view backward and forward. All right. I don't want to keep referencing X-Plane, but in X-Plane we use the comma and the period, which we're familiar with. And so to move backwards, we use comma, and again, you'll click it, go inside there, hit the key, validate it. Same thing for moving forward. We use the period key to move forward, and those will set. You can also, if you want to memorize what's already programmed, you can do that by all means. All right. Also, you want to set decrease cockpit view height, increase cockpit view height. And what this does is raises your seat up and pushes your seat down, or your view, however you want to look at that. There were no binds for this, so I went ahead and put them in the left column. But if there's something there, or if you want to save double keys, you have 2 keys that you can set these to. So I would set this for down to decrease and up for increase. and you save that the same way. These are your arrow keys on the keyboard. All right, up and down. All right, translate cockpit view left and right. What this does is slides you to the left. So it is actually sliding you over into the, if you're in the left seat, it'll slide you over to the right seat if you press right. If you're in the right seat, it'll slide you over to the left if you press left. All right, so this is what moves you left and right. Not yawing your head left and right, but actually moving you left and right. And we'll go and make sure we look at how that works out. Okay. Other than those, I think that was all that I set for this. I didn't go in and mess with a whole lot of the quick views and the cockpit view free look rather. I didn't do any of that. I did what I know was going to be the very basic maneuvers that we'll need. All right. So once you're done with that, you can go ahead and close that category, go down to the bottom, click save and apply, or apply and save. And our next one we're going to do is the drone camera. Let's go ahead and do the drone camera. All right. Drone camera, this is going to be relatively easy because the drone camera pretty much it's a free camera. All right. This is the camera that in X-Plane, if you hit the C after you're in the external view, it kind of releases it from the plane. You can rise up in the sky, take a look around, pan around, and look at the airport. You can fly through the airport, all of that good stuff. All right. And the way that you do that is you'll come down to translate drone backward, down, forward, left, right, and up. You want all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. All right. And we're going to program them to move forward and backwards. We know comma and period, right? You go in there, set it, validate it, so on and so forth. Translate the drone up and down, meaning that the drone will rise up and descend down. All right. You want to do that with the down key on the directional pad, or your directional buttons. Left and right, same thing, up. All right. You want to go in there and set those up, down, left, and right buttons on your keyboard to these corresponding translations. All right. That'll get you moving up and down, left and right, with the drone moving forward and backward. All right. To do the pitch and the yaw. All right. Those are the only two that I find will need in this mode. I don't see where the drone roll comes into play, but maybe you do. You can go ahead and set those as you need to. But I definitely recommend that you set the pitch drone down, which will use the F key. Pitch drone up, we'll use the R, and Q and E, we'll use that to yaw the drone left and right. So in other words, turning the drone will stay in a fixed position or a fixed place, and it'll yaw or turn its head, or if you think about turning your head left and right towards your shoulders, that's what this will do. It will turn the drone left and right, but it will stay in that same position. It won't move to the left or right. All right. So you want to make sure you set those up. Those are really, really critical. Now there's another thing too. When you come into the drone camera, you get into the drone camera, you're not able to manipulate the instruments. You can't fly the aircraft. It just kind of like only allows you to manipulate the camera. Well, what you can do is you can hit toggle plane controls, and what this will do is it'll still keep you in drone mode, but it'll release the controls so that you can manipulate the aircraft. All right. And so I did that with the letter C. That'll release controls in the drone mode. All right. Remember, these categories have to be selected in order for certain things to work. So that's for the drone camera. Let's keep going. External camera. I don't think I did a whole lot for the external camera, with the exception of let's see, what was there? There was one, toggle external view. There we go. It toggle the external view. That was number 9, right? Cockpit external view mode. Go ahead and set that, validate that. So anytime we hit the 9, num 9, we'll toggle external view. All right. Now there are some quick views that you can set up, and I'll show you what they do. Control left, right, up and down. You can see what those quick views look like. Okay, that's all I did for the external. Didn't do a whole lot. The only other place I made some changes was fixed camera views. Okay, now these are the fixed camera views that are inside the drone, I believe, or it might be the external. No, I think it's the showcase mode. It's the showcase mode. So it's in the drone. It's in the drone. What you can do is you can set all of these toggle fixed camera views from 1 to 10. And you can call these views on demand. All right. And I'll just go in and set these right up. Set these right quick. So you can see that. Click on it. That one has a numlock 9, has a lot of stuff. All right, validate. All right. All right, so you go in and set all of these. Keep in mind, when you're in certain aircraft, you'll have more fixed external views than in other aircraft. I do know in the airliners, there will be fixed camera 10, 11, 12, and 13. And as you can see, it stops at 10. So this is all you can program. You're not able to program those other few fixed views that are already set. Okay. And what I found, and a couple other guys have found, is it seems like 11, 12, 13, and 14 end up being those wing views that we love. And so the fix to get around that without having to open up the camera menu is to select previous fixed camera and next fixed camera. And what these will do is allow you to cycle through all of the fixed cameras that are programmed. All right, pre-programmed. And so what I did was I set num star and num delete, which is the period button on the num lock next to the 0 and the enter button. And those will actually let me cycle through all of the cameras. And I can stop at the ones that I want. And like I said, usually the wing views and engine views are like 9 and 10, or I'm sorry, 11, 12. So what I would probably do is stop at 11 and 12. And when I hit that fixed camera view or the fixed camera, it'll jump back into a wing view, and I can just toggle between those views that are set already. Okay. If you need to reset the fixed camera, you can hit F and it'll reset it for you. I find that to be pretty useful when things get a little wonky. It'll just kind of reset everything, bring everything back to subjection. All right. Again, at the end of that, you want to hit apply and save. Okay. Once you do that, you're all set with camera modes. With all of those views, you have some views or some keybinds that you can kind of work with. So now let's go inside the sim or the game, whichever you prefer, and let us program and save our cockpit views. All right, so right now we're in external view. Let's go into cockpit view. We'll go ahead and reset the position. And for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this. All right. Now, you see we sitting in the cockpit. We're kind of close to the dash, right? Two things you can do. You can use your scroll mouse to zoom out. Sometimes that is a better fix than actually moving yourself. What I mean by moving yourself is actually moving yourself backwards. See, that's going to be our comma. And that's going to be our period button. So that's moving us up and back. Okay. Those of us that like those, what we call GoPro cams on the nose, you can set your GoPro. All right. But that's it. That's how you move forward and backwards, comma and period, which is what we set. Remember, we said left and right directionals will actually slide you to the left and right. Yep. Working like a charm. Up and down moves your seat up. You can pump your seat up high or you can bring it down low. And that's good. Looks good. All right. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh. Sorry. Whoops. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and set this view. Let's go ahead and set our pilot's view. And so we'll hit left command and we'll hit, left control. Been on Mac too much. Left control and the number 1. All right. Now I'm gonna take the mouse and I'm gonna move us somewhere. I'm gonna just move us. Let's just say we over here looking out this window, right? Like, oh, look at that. Look at the mountains back there. Oh, they're so cool. Oh my God, I need to see what I'm doing. Boom. You hit one key, you're back to where you were. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's go down and set let's set some instrument views. All right, now we're gonna you're gonna have to kind of play with this a little bit to get it right. It's not gonna happen overnight. It'll happen in a matter of a few minutes, at least an hour at the most. Getting everything set up like you like it. All right, so this looks like a pretty good, I guess IFR view if you wanted to use that. So we'll go ahead and get control and num key 2. All right, we'll go back to number 1, go back to 2. There we go. And so now we're creating views here, boys. Maybe you want that good old money shot, right? A money shot of the dash. Maybe you want to do like something like this. You want to look down at it. Have like a little GoPro back here or something, right? Let's go ahead and store that as control 0 on our num pad. So we'll go 1, 2, 0. Looks good to me. Same thing for wing views. So in the GAs, it's pretty easy to do our wing views because there's no cabin to have to go into. Let's just say we wanted this to be our wing view here. What we'll do is set it we'll say this is control 4. So we'll go back to 1, 2, 0, 4. Back to 1. Looks good. Looks good. We'll slide over to our passenger seat or our co-pilot seat. And we'll set this view here, man. It is cloudy in Cali. All right. And this one will be 6. And I'll go ahead and set a couple more. Let's do this. Take a look down from this way at what we have set here. And don't forget that up and down moves you up and down. It doesn't allow you to, it doesn't focus on anything and capture it. So if you need to get closer, you might have to hit the period to move, forward and backwards. All right, got to keep that in mind to get the views that you want. All right, looks good to me. So we'll go ahead and set that as control 5. There's 1, there's 0, there's 6, there's 5, there's 4, and we're back at 1. All right. don't think this one doesn't have a back window like the Cessna. But if you wanted to set, I think that's about as far as we can get back here. If you wanted to set a Cessna view of the window on the back, you could, or you could actually manipulate. You can manipulate this. You can do something like zoom in, right? And we can do this as Control 8, and then we'll have to turn around the other way to do this side, and we'll zoom in, and we'll make this Control 7. All right, let's call those views. So there's 0, there's 1, there's 5, there's 2, there's 4, there's 8, there's 6, and then there's 7. All right, cool beans. So now you've got your cockpit view set up. You can change these as as often as you like, as much as you want. All right, we'll go out, we'll hit I just hit num key 9 because we set num key 9 as the external view, correct? And that we can look up here in the camera, and there it is, external view. Now these external views have these quick views, okay? And I'm gonna show you what these quick views are. What we'll do is all right, so if you hold down left control and you hold down the right arrow, it brings you to the right side of the aircraft, and it shows you the right side of the aircraft. Pretty beneficial for flying when you're flying around, okay? The only thing about the quick views is if you let go of the directional button that you're pressing forward or up, down, left, or right, it returns to the default, which is behind the aircraft. All right, up is going to give you a top-down view, down is going to give you the forward view or the front of the aircraft, and left will give you the left side. Easy peasy. All right, so those are your quick views if you want to call those and play with those. All right, we didn't set those as buttons, but you can. All right, I don't find it beneficial to use. I don't use it, so I didn't set it, but it can be done in those quick views. All right, the next thing you can do in this mode is you can take the mouse and you can rotate around the airplane. It is focused on the airplane. If you move the mouse up, it'll go over to the top. You move it right, it'll circle left. If you move left, it'll circle towards the right. And that's pretty decent, okay? All right, looks good, okay? Now let's hit the insert button. All right, so the insert button should put us in showcase mode, and we're in showcase mode, or whatever button you set for the toggle drone. Once you get that toggled out, now you can see you are away from the aircraft and you are climbing up to the sky. All right, with the up and right key is what I'm using to do this. Now remember, we set Q and E for our yaw, correct? So there's our yaw. There's Q, yawing to the right or to the left. There's E, yawing to the right. Remember, R and F was our pitch. So if we press R, we'll look up at the sky. If we press F, you see we're still up in altitude, but our head is rolling down. We're rolling around, all right? And so those are those keys: Q, E, R, and F. And that's for your yaw and your pitch, okay? Forward and backward still work with comma and period. What I suggest you do is come inside here and speed up the drone speed. All right, and what that'll allow you to do is move a little bit faster, as you can see. And I'm gonna stay up high because the last tutorial I just recorded, I crashed into the grass, and it says that I damaged the landing gear, and I wasn't in the aircraft. So maybe I damaged the landing gear on the drone. Maybe that's what it was. But as you can see, you can look around. You have total control, total autonomy over the drone camera, and it's pretty what it's to me. For me, it's what I'm used to. I'm used to using X-Plane and being able to know how to move around. You know, when we start those great intros, and we want to start way out. We want to start way out. You know, we come way out and get those views all set up, and then we bust a UE, and then we'll zoom in maybe. Let's increase the zoom. All right, we want to zoom in. That doesn't look too good, but anywho, just come back over here so the stuff will populate. There we go. Zoom in. We might come up here like this, yaw it down a little bit, or maybe we want to get the lake in the background. Big Bear Lake out there. I mean, there's so many things that you can do once you get this part of it done. All right, we come in and he's like, yo, what's going on? Welcome aboard. You know, or we might want to zoom into our aircraft where we parked. Right, that's not us. There we go. All right, and again, you know, we got this set up right now to the speed. Drone speed is pretty fast. You might want to slow it down when you're trying to capture your airplane or zoom into your airplane. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you do it. That's how you get it set up. Last but not least, I want to show you the fixed camera views. All right, and in this aircraft we've only got 6, but when you get in those airliners, you will have probably 11 to 12 or 13. All right, and so what these external fixed views are, those GoPros, those action cams, right? And instead of having to come in here and select through these, remember that star and the delete button on the num key is what we set for previous and next external views. That's what these are. And if we were in the airliner, I would show you these views. They will pop around and you'll actually see that you get the engine view, you get the belly view, you get the gear view. You've got I believe there's one where it shows the vertical stabilizer or the horizontal stabilizer, and you'll be able to cycle through those easy peasy. All right, so again, this video was hopefully to help you guys get the camera system set up, make some sense out of it, hopefully some familiarity of the is that Cessna rolling? Sounds like the Cessna's on. But yeah, this will get you guys set up. I hope this helps. Go ahead and do me a favor and leave some comments down in the comment section. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I hope again this helps. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. CJ Hollister is out. Bye bye.